What's poppin', y'all? It's your boy Pee Wee the Plug. Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're gonna be doing something a little bit different. Historically, y'all know me as a basketball expert. From Twitter to Instagram to YouTube to Through the Wire podcast, y'all know me for my basketball expertise. Mwah! I love multiple sports. I just so happen to know basketball the best. And at a certain point in my life, that became my job and, paid my bills and made sure I was able to take care of my family. So I have to dive a lot more into basketball than the other sports that I enjoyed growing up. I don't want to make myself sound any much older than I am, but I grew up in an era that didn't have these things. And we didn't have tablets and MacBooks and podcasts. So all you really had was ESPN and SportsCenter. And SportsCenter would play on loop all throughout the day, all throughout the night, the same storylines, the same games, just all day long. And because of that, that allowed me to be diverse in a lot of different sports. Even if I was still a casual in certain sports, I still was able to keep up with it to a certain extent as a kid. So I know certain golfers from back then. I know certain tennis players. I know certain NASCAR drivers. I know Kobayashi from eating the hot dogs and all of that. And of course, I specialized in basketball, baseball, and football. Those are my big three sports. Obviously, I was the best playing wise at basketball, so I always knew basketball at the back of my hand, but I always had a love for baseball and football, especially football because of the college element. Basketball and football both have those college atmospheres that I gravitated to, and growing up, I was a nerd about it. So a lot of people don't know that about me. They think I'm just a basketball guy. A lot of people are aware that I did play baseball growing up, and I do have a love and passion for baseball. But football was just as big for me as the other two when I was growing up. Like I said earlier, I did have to get to a point where basketball became my job. And with that happening, football was the sport that kind of pushed to the side just a little bit, especially the college part of it. I always, keep up with the NFL and know the NFL and pretty well versed there. But this past year, I told myself I'm dedicating myself back into the college football landscape. College football for me was just so big and a part of my life that I can't believe it got to a point where I was kind of like, not super familiar with everything that was going on. And I say all of that to say I do know a thing about football, and I'm about to talk about football. So I wanted to give y'all some of my background story. The rest of my story is I'm a Cowboys fan. I've been a Cowboys fan my entire life. People always ask me that. I feel like I've let that be known since the moment we started Through the Wire podcast, but I am a diehard Cowboy fan. And the reason being is because my dad was around and alive for the Cowboys' glory years with Troy Aikman and, Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith. So because of that, he became a Cowboys fan, and, he's a bandwagon guy. Yeah. And then growing up for me, when he introduced me to these sports, he pushed the Cowboys onto me. And growing up, I always was kind of against the Bears. You know how it is when you're a kid. Like, I don't like the Bears. The Bears are in the Super Bowl against the Colts. I'm rooting against the Bears. The Bears suck. But the older I get, the more I do realize I am a Bears fan. I am a Bears fan, and everything that the Bears represent, I think as an adult, you appreciate the grittiness, the toughness, the hard-nosed defense that the Bears are always known to have historically when they're good. But when you're a kid and you're impressionable, you like the bright lights. You like the high scoring. And I'm still a sucker for high scoring. I still love showboating. Incredible wide receiver. I still love a quarterback who will throw the ball 45 to 50 times in a game. I still love that. But I appreciate more grittiness, hard-nosed defenses that can dirty the game up, make the game a lot muddier. So the older I get, the more I accept my Bears fandom. And I won't lie, it's hard to be a Cowboys fan with some of the stuff Jerry Jones be saying and doing and some of the allegations, you know what I'm saying? But what owner in the NFL isn't like that, if you know what I'm saying? So I say all I have to say, the Chicago Bears. I came into this season the most invested I've ever been in my 28 years of living, because all my life I've been a Cowboys fan. All my life I've been kind of like, I ain't rocking with the Bears. And then I had an epiphany. I am a Bears fan. I do support the Bears. I do love when the Bears win. I do. I love it. Let me take control of that. Let me honor that. Let me accept that part of my life. And I'm a Chicagoan, so I get the Chicago Sun-Times delivered to my house every single morning. And every morning I wake up, I brush my teeth, and I go and I get my newspaper in the front yard, and I come in and I read it while I drink my tea or I eat my breakfast or whatever I feel like doing. I make sure I read it. For the past few months, it was dominated by the Chicago Bears. What we did in the draft, what we did in free agency, training camp, Justin Fields in this upcoming season. We got DJ Moore, all of these different things. The Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears, the Bears. So I was hyped. I'm geeked. I'm ready. I'm invested. Let's go. Let's go, let's go, let's go. My homie Mike, like, man, we going to have us an opening week watch party at my crib. We going to do it big. Let's go. Bears, Bears, bear down. Yeah. Bears, Bears. And even with all of that, I'm a realistic guy. I can't help myself. I refuse to be delusional in my sports fandom. I'm delusional in other areas of life. That's why I've made it this far, because you have to have certain delusional thoughts. But when it comes to my sports fandom, I cannot allow myself to be completely delusional. So I said, hey, the Bears won 3 games last year. I am not the guy that's going to say Justin Fields is going to be MVP this season. I've seen them saying that on ESPN. I've seen people saying that on Twitter. I'm not, no. We're not doing that. We're not doing that. I know Bears fans because of my family. Amen. KB's dad, King of the Fourth Quarter, his dad, my Uncle Ken, at the wedding. Bears going to the Super Bowl. No, we ain't doing that. We had 3 wins last year. Let's just get 6, 7, or 8. Can we just aim for 7 wins? Can we just double our wins? Let's just get 6. Let's just get 6 wins. We have a new team, a young team. We have a young quarterback. All I ever wanted as far as expectations, let's aim for 6 wins at the lowest. And let's see strides from Justin Fields and our offense because we have new weapons. We use our first round pick on the offensive line. Let's look for steps in the right direction. Let's not aim for the stars and the moons just yet because it's a working process. We're in the middle of a rebuild. Let's just take the first step in the rebuild. Let's aim for 6 wins. Justin Fields shows progress as a passer, plus what he can do with his feet. Let's see DJ Moore be one of the most electric wide receivers we've had in a long time. And let's see progress from our defense. We have a secondary that I thought could have been one of the better secondaries in the NFL. And let's see what we can do with this defensive line as far as getting through the season. I knew the defensive line was going to be the biggest issue. When we got closer to the season, I knew the offensive line was going to be the next biggest issue. And at a certain point with all of the injuries and everything that was happening with the offensive line, Darnell Wright got hurt and everything. I'm like, okay, the offensive line is going to be our biggest issue now. Defensive line is number 2. We fast forward, we're 0-3. And the difference between our 0-3 and other 0-3s that have existed or that are out there is I can't put my finger on one thing that's positive. Other teams have been bad, but they've had something to hold on to. Where it's like, okay, we ain't good, but we got Saquon Barkley. Okay, we ain't good, but we got Jonathan Taylor. Or we ain't good, but we got a rock star quarterback. He's just young. We just need to put weapons around. We got Trevor Lawrence. We don't have anything to hang on to. There's not one positive thing I can say about the Chicago Bears right now after 3 weeks into the season. The defensive line, weak. Linebacker position, cool, but because the defense sucks, we all suck. We got injuries across the line. Eddie Jackson is out. Jaquan Brisker is playing banged up. Kyle Gordon is out. The offensive line, you had injuries and Cody Whitehair playing out of position. Anything that can go wrong goes wrong. Justin Fields, almost at halftime. Yesterday going into halftime, I think he had 5 pass attempts. 5. The run game don't look good. The wide receiver core doesn't look good. Justin Fields doesn't look good. We had our defensive coordinator resign, and the stories and rumors about why that got to social media are disturbing. And the Chicago Bears barely speak on it. You had equipment stolen. You had our quarterback be in such a tough position that he had to go out and speak against why he's playing a certain way he is. And of course, the media wanted to take that and twist it into something that I don't think it was. And I'm not here to be the biggest Justin Fields defender. I'm just on what's right and what's wrong. I've been there. I've seen it with my own eyes as far as being in the team aspect. I played with a guy. He was a point guard. He was older than me. I was a younger guy on the team. He was older than me. And I played with this guy outside of our team element. So we grew up in the same area. I played with him at the park. I played with him in open runs, open gyms, summer league. I seen this guy hoop. He could really, really hoop. And I had high expectations for him. And I thought he was going to have a really, really good year. When the real season came around, he didn't play that well. And it wasn't an indication against him. The reason he didn't play that well is because he was being overcoached. And in turn, it made this guy who was naturally, instinctively a good point guard, it made him overthink. And what the overthinking did was make him not perform. He overthought every single thing he did. He played timid. He played tight. He wasn't free. He was robotic. And being a robot led to turnovers. This dude would come into games and have 6 turnovers, 7 turnovers, because everything he did, he didn't trust. It was just, And then the coach would chew him out. And now he's robotic and he's scared. 2 things you cannot be at a quarterback, point guard, a pitcher, and probably a whole bunch of other positions in other sports I may not be well versed in. And I felt the same way with Justin Fields. I am not a Bears fan who is here to convince anybody that Justin Fields is Peyton Manning, Tom Brady. I'm not even here to tell you that he's Trevor Lawrence. I'm not. So when I see a guy going out there who ran for 1,300 yards, almost 1,400 yards last year as a quarterback, and he's not running a ball, he's hanging on to the ball for countless seconds in a pocket. He's scared to make certain throws. He's that looks like a guy that's overthinking. I've played sports. I've seen guys who overthink. I know what it looks like. I know exactly what it looks like. We've seen this guy be good before. We've seen this guy be solid before. Now all of a sudden he's just... So when he went out and he said that, it made sense. And I appreciated him for it, because that is the insight that we're looking for. And he had to bring the media back, and that's what he said. I wasn't trying to blame anybody. I was trying to give y'all the insight that y'all claim y'all look for. But Justin Fields is right. The media right now does not look for insight. They look for headlines. So if you didn't watch, you probably thought his answer was just coaching, because a lot of the quotes was coaching, ... end quote. So I understood that part of him. What I also try to get people to understand, and the point that I was trying to make yesterday on Twitter, is that historically, the Bears haven't done well at the position, which is why I continue to defend Justin Fields. Not because, again, I think he's the greatest quarterback ever. Some of these issues and some of these shortcomings are on him. Definitely. Nobody is taking that away. But at what point do you begin to look at an organization and say, this organization has never had that much success at this position? It's kind of like the point I've always made with the Browns. The Browns have a long history of quarterbacks that they were drafting, especially when I grew up. When I grew up, the Browns were garbage. They were one of the worst sports organizations in all of sports. And they kept drafting quarterbacks, and they missed out. They drafted so many quarterbacks, I can't even begin to try to name them all. But you had Tim Couch, Brady Quinn, Derek Anderson. I don't even know if they drafted Derek Anderson, and he actually had success with them. I think he was with them when they went 10-6. But just know they drafted. You can go Google it. Their fans used to have jerseys, and they would just tape out the name, and there was this one fan who went viral before viral was a thing, who covered up the name of the jersey of whoever the original quarterback was. And every time they had a new quarterback, he would just write a new name. And it was so many names that it went down the back of his jersey. And I always tell people, you can't convince me that every single quarterback the Browns drafted was just trash. At some point, we have to look at the Browns and say it's something that they're doing where they get these quarterbacks who look good in college and look like they're super, super good, and then they just get to y'all and they ass. I can't believe that you draft 11 quarterbacks and all of them ass. I can't allow myself to think that. At some point, I have to look at the Browns and say, y'all are doing something wrong. Y'all are dysfunctional. Y'all don't know how to develop and put quarterbacks in position to succeed. And I'm about at that point with the Bears. I am. You talk about the Bears' history of quarterbacks. You got Jim McMahon, 1985, the Bears win the Super Bowl. But if we being honest, Jim McMahon isn't Aaron Rodgers. He ain't Tom Brady. He ain't Patrick Mahomes. He ain't even Drew Brees. He's not even Phillip Rivers. He was a guy who was a quarterback of a team that had an incredible defense, had Walter Payton behind him, and had a hell of a coach in Ditka. And they won the Super Bowl by him not messing it up. Game manager, do what you do, just don't mess anything up. And when you talk about the 85 Bears, nobody name me the receiving core from the 85 Bears. I've never talked to anybody about the 85 Bears. People that were around, my dad, uncles, anybody that was like, man, listen off the offense. No, you talking about the refrigerator, Dick Butkus, Walter Payton. Walter Payton was the man, and people love Jim McMahon because he had swag. Headband, cool with the glasses, because he had an eye issue from when he was younger. But nobody walk around like he was just leading the Bears charge. And there's nothing wrong with that. It's not here to diminish him. He was good, but he wasn't great. And he didn't do anything to put the Bears on his back. Go to the last time the Bears won the Super Bowl. Same situation. And again, I'm going to continue to say it all throughout the video. Every point that I'm making is not to diminish anybody and their ability or what they did. Jim McMahon is a Super Bowl quarterback. I'm just making a point against the Bears and how they have quarterbacks. Last time I went to the Super Bowl. What was it, 2008, 2007? Rex Grossman? Or was that 2006? I'm sorry. My years are so all over the place just because of the pandemic. But it was one of those years. Colts versus Bears. Super Bowl. Rex Grossman, quarterback. Another situation where Rex Grossman was not a superstar quarterback. He was not an above average quarterback. He wasn't a top 15 quarterback. He was literally the quarterback that they said, hey, here's the ball. Just don't mess this up. And majority of his career, he was hurt. The year that we went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman, that was like the only year he was really able to be there throughout the entire year. But a lot of the other years, he was hurt. And again, that's another situation when we have a rock star defense and we tell him, just don't mess it up. And we had a Hall of Fame special teams weapon in Devin Hester, who started off that Super Bowl with a touchdown return. But defensively, you're talking about Brian Urlacher, Lance Briggs, Tommy Harris, Hunter Hillemeyer, Peanut Tillman. Gritty, incredible defense. And we just tell our quarterback, just don't mess anything up, and we're going to be good. Ultimately, we lose to Peyton Manning. No shame in that at all. One of the greatest of all time to do it. Now, that puts me in this position where, again, the quarterback, Mitch Trubisky. Mitch Trubisky, for where he was drafted, it was a disappointing tenure. A lot of people hang on to the fact that Patrick Mahomes was drafted after Trubisky, and we could have had Patrick Mahomes. And I said this on Twitter, and I stand on this. And it's not to be right, it's not to be wrong, so feel free to disagree with me. Patrick Mahomes is not Patrick Mahomes with the Bears. And again, it's nothing against Patrick Mahomes. It's nothing to take away him. He is Steph Curry of the NFL. He has revolutionized that position. He's brought some flair and pizzazz to that position with the throws and everything. Man, Patrick Mahomes is a box office, prime time. He's a hard guy to root against. He's a hard guy to not like. I'm talking about first class, A1, GOAT status in the middle of his career. And he's still got a lot of football left to play. But because I know some things or two about football, I'm not an expert, but I know a thing or two. I'm sorry. I can't give the Bears the benefit of the doubt to say that Patrick Mahomes will be Patrick Mahomes. The reason we look at Patrick Mahomes as a no-doubter is because of his career. It's because of the winning. It's because of the success. It's because of the moments. I don't have the confidence that he has those moments with the Bears. And yeah, like I said, Mitch Trubisky made it to the playoffs with the Bears, so Pat Mahomes might have made it to the playoffs. But Andy Reid and what he knows about that quarterback position, oh man, to have that Patrick Mahomes, to be able to pair that with Patrick Mahomes, historic. Travis Kelce, Tyreek Hill, to be able to pair that with Patrick Mahomes, Chicago wasn't going to give him no Travis Kelce. Chicago wasn't going to give him no Tyreek Hill. He may have had Tariq Cohen, but he wasn't going to have Tyreek Hill. And unfortunately, the Bears weren't going to get no Andy Reid. So it's not me to make no argument to say Patrick Mahomes was going to be playing like Justin Fields or he was going to be as bad as Mr. Trubisky or, as regular as Mr. Trubisky. Let me not say bad, but just as regular as Mr. Trubisky. No, he probably could have been better than them. He probably would still be really, really good. But would he be what we look at him as now? I don't think so. Multiple Super Bowls, multiple MVPs, already GOAT status, already one of the best that I've ever seen at the position. No. Yes, he is generational. But football is a sport, unlike basketball, where scheme matters. The weapons around you matter. Coaching matters. Personnel matters. A lot more in football than it does in the NBA. Somebody tried to use that comparison. Man, he's like LeBron. LeBron would have been good anyway. No. Especially at the quarterback position. You put the best quarterback on a team with no weapons, no line, and a scheme that don't make sense. It's not going to look like one of the best quarterbacks. Because he can't go out there and catch the ball himself. He can't go out there and run routes himself. He can't go out there and put the scheme together himself. He can't block for himself. LeBron can say, hey, y'all don't feel like hooping, I'll drop 55 tonight. I've never seen Aaron Rodgers throw the ball and go catch it himself. I've never seen Tom Brady go out there and snap the ball in himself and block. It takes a lot. Football is a sport. We've seen guys get released because they didn't look good in a certain scheme. Then another team picks them up, and oh my gosh, they become one of the top players at their position. I look at a guy like Minkah Fitzpatrick. Remember when Minkah Fitzpatrick was with the Dolphins? Still has got him. Oh, my gosh. There's not a team in the league right now that wouldn't take Minkah Fitzpatrick if they could. You kidding me? If Minkah Fitzpatrick... It's just the way that the NFL is. It's just the way that the NFL is. Geno Smith looked horrible. Looked really bad for 10 years. Really bad. He links up with Pete Carroll. Amazing. And a lot of people are like, hey, maybe it's a fluke year. Maybe that's a one-hit wonder year. The verdict is still out. We shall see. But he found a place where he was able to fit. And I look at the Patrick Mahomes thing, and I see that Andy Reid sat him behind Alex Smith at first. And Alex Smith looked real good with Andy Reid. He looked real good. Former first overall pick out of Utah, Alex Smith. I know my college football the same way I know my college basketball, what college he went to. And I even look at somebody like Green Bay. Green Bay historically knows what they're doing with the quarterbacks. And they don't have the same front office people who got Starr and Favre and Rodgers and now Love. And the verdict is still out on Love too. But they seem to have a knack for what they're doing at that position. And it's important to have good starts. Confidence is everything for a quarterback. And that's why I appreciate the route that Andy Reid and the Chiefs took with Patrick Mahomes. Let him get super in depth with that playbook. Don't throw him out in the fire. Give him some confidence, and look what you have. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. They didn't throw him in the fire yet. Play behind Brett. Pick up some gems. Learn. Get familiar with that playbook and the play calling and the weapons and how we do things. Get super intact with everything. Jordan Love, yeah, he has a lot more football to play. He's only, 3 starts in. But, man, he looks really good. It looks like he learned a thing or two from a Hall of Famer. Everybody ain't struggling that's been thrown in the fire. Trevor Lawrence looked good. Anthony Richardson looked really good with the Colts in his first couple of starts. C.J. Stroud looks good. Bryce Young, solid. A lot to be desired there in Carolina, but solid nonetheless. But with all that being said, it's tough for me to have confidence on the next step of the Bears. Everybody's talking about what the Bears should do. Hey, don't feel bad. Y'all just draft Caleb Williams. Really? As a Bears fan, looking back at this, should that make me comfortable? Or as a football fan, should I say, please don't get Caleb Williams, please? I want to see him be a star somewhere else, like Patrick Mahomes. As a football fan, I love that Patrick Mahomes didn't come to Chicago. He needed to be with Kelsey Hill. Let me not say he needed, because then people think I'm diminishing him. And in no way, I just don't understand why people even take that part. But I love the story. I love that team. I love what I saw. I love the football I got from that. So I don't want to break that up. I want that to stay the same. I don't want to think about Patrick Mahomes in Chicago with Cole Kmet. I don't. I'd much rather see him with Kelsey Hill, Andy Reid offense. You know what I'm saying? Spagnolia's defense. I'd much rather see that. I don't want to see Patrick Mahomes and being included in a double doink. I don't. Okay? That takes me back to my point. Yes. What's next for the Bears? What do the Bears do? Oh, y'all be good. Y'all just get Caleb Williams. How do we know Caleb Williams is going to even keep his name in the draft if the Bears have the top pick? How do we know that the Bears are ready for Caleb Williams level talent? How do we trust and believe in the Bears? Because I'm with the Bears the same way I am with the Browns. It's hard for me to believe Justin Fields is just horrible. It's hard for me to believe all of these quarterbacks that the Bears got just aren't talented. No, I'm at the point where I'm looking at the Bears. When are y'all going to do things in the right order? Stop drafting quarterbacks and then firing a coach the next year. Because then you bring in a new coach who isn't sold on it. That's not his guy. You draft a quarterback and then fire the GM and the coach, and then you bring in a new GM and a new coach, and that ain't their guy. So then they have to spend a couple of years with that quarterback, and then by year 3 or year 4, they're on the hot seat. And so you finally move on from that quarterback. You draft another quarterback, and because he's a rookie quarterback, he's probably going to struggle, or the team ain't really going to be all of that because you're probably in a rebuild. So the best thing the Bears could do is start fresh completely if that's the direction you're going to go in. If you're going to move on from Justin Fields, you have to let Eberflus go as well. And I like Eberflus, but he might be much better as just a defensive coordinator. That's how it is. Sometimes guys are just better at coordinator. You're just a great offensive coordinator. You don't need to be a head coach. That's my thoughts. If we gonna start, we got to start completely over. This thing is deeper than Justin Fields. It's bigger than a coordinator. We've had plenty of coordinators. We have plenty of head coaches. There's been plenty of quarterbacks. There's something wrong that the Bears are doing, and we need to start completely over. The moment we decided we're not rocking with Justin Fields. I'm looking around the league, man. The 49ers are rolling with Brock Purdy. Not the guy that they traded up to get, Trey Lance. They just traded him to the Cowboys. They moved on from that quickly. I'm looking at that. To be able to just move, hey, man, we made a mistake. We took our L. Let's move on. And they have a surefire defense. They have weapons all around the offense. Deebo Samuel, Kittle, Christian McCaffrey now, Ayuk. And then they went out and got a guy, quote unquote, Mr. Irrelevant. He's now Mr. Relevant. And again, Brock Purdy ain't out there being Tom Brady, but you can see his confidence growing. He was a guy who just understood the playbook, understand the play calling, and he didn't mess up. Now he letting that thing fly. 300 yards here, 2 touchdown passes. His confidence is everything. And so I'm looking at the Bears like, man, are we sold that we just move on and go get the next quarterback? Or should we just use all of our picks and our cap space and let's just get weapons? Let's draft defensive monsters and some offensive weapons, and we'll just find us a quarterback who just won't mess up and try to get him some confidence. Or let's just buy quarterbacks. Let's be one of those teams. Because the best talent at the quarterback position we've had is Jay Cutler, a guy that we didn't draft, a guy that we acquired, that we sent Kyle Orton for. Say what you want about Jay Cutler. I know he's not the number one guy on people's list that they are fans of. But when you talk about talent for talent, I personally believe Jay Cutler has been the best talent that I've seen at the quarterback position for the Bears. And I've seen a lot of quarterbacks. I've seen Kyle Orton, Rex Grossman. I've seen Kendall Stewart, Mitch Trubisky, Nick Foles. There's probably names that I'm not even remembering. I've seen so many quarterbacks for the Bears. Maybe we should just acquire talent. We let other teams develop the quarterback and we go try and trade for him. But I'm not sure the answer is just, hey, suck, top pick, let's get the quarterback, because we haven't shown that we know what to do with star quarterbacks. So we know how to put guys with star potential in position to reach that full superstar. And that's my whole point with the Patrick Mahomes thing that I was saying on Twitter. Again, I am not the guy that's against people disagreeing with me. Disagree with me. I have no problem with it. I think this is what that is for. I want people to get in the comments, tell me their thoughts, and I don't want everybody to see and think and feel and believe everything that I believe in. But I just don't have the confidence that the Bears are going to put Patrick Mahomes in the position to reach his fullest potential to be what we see him as today. It doesn't mean he was going to be a bum. It doesn't mean he was going to be a bust. It doesn't mean he wasn't going to throw incredible passes. But when I look at Patrick Mahomes today, he is a GOAT in the making. He is a GOAT already. To say that he was going to be the same exact way in the same position with the same status as a Bear means that you have to have had some type of level of confidence in the Bears. And if that's your point, you got to let me know where that confidence comes from. It's football. It's not basketball. The Bears, I don't know what we're doing, but we got to do something. And before we go out and we get a Drake May, Caleb Williams, we need to make sure we got what it takes, because I don't want to see another talent get minimized because of the lack of development, the lack of personnel around a quarterback. And again, it's not to defend Justin Fields. He's got a lot of strides to take, but it's hard for me to put all of this on him, a majority of it on him. Confidence is key at that position. Development is key at that position. And he just hasn't had that. I'm Pee Wee the Plug. We talked some football today. We'll talk some football some more. I love y'all. I appreciate y'all. If you're new, hit that subscribe button. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button for me. I'll see y'all soon. I'm out. Peace.